We have the wonderful Michelle Schaefer with us as well today. And so this is going to be unlike some of the other live streams because we have some really amazing things to share with you. So
Yes.
we're really going to be kind of pulling back the curtain, so to speak, and sharing certain things with you guys that I haven't shared. All right, so where should we start?
I think where we should start is what's the point? What are we doing here today? Why have I kind of hijacked the live stream for this Thursday? Because this is normally your show, and I've kind of jumped on here, and I get to pick your brain and ask you all the questions that the audience wants to know today. So let's start with just this idea of the future. Sometimes feels like everything is moving so fast. It's hard to stay caught up with where things are at. It's hard to stay ahead of the curve. And it's hard to know of all these things that are flying at us, which of these things are actually the next thing? Where should we focus with all of the options and opportunities out there? We're going to go into sharing with you guys the solution to all of those things. We're going to show you guys something first that nobody outside of our team has seen, and some sneak peeks of things that you don't want to hear about this later. You want to see it now. So, Rich, let's start with that. What actually inspired you to get started with Steal Our Winners and the concept of it?
I would say that really all the free reports that I've written, back in 2006, 7, 8, all kind of point to where we are today. That, I talked about in the Attention Age Doctrine 1 and 2, Attention Age Doctrine 1 was all about how attention was going to become the scarcest commodity. And then the Attention Age Doctrine 2 was all about me figuring out where attention was going, and where attention was going was to social media, and what were the implications of that, right? Mm-hmm. That there'd be a explosion of choices, that there would be the need for authorities in every market, which is why the next report I wrote was with Jay Abraham about being a maven in a market. I talked about how prospects were no longer just targets. They were actually now going to be your best channel, and a bunch of other implications of what happens when the web, which was a one-way communication kind of channel, becomes a two-way communication channel, and why attention was going to become the scarcest commodity online, and what the implications of that were as far as marketing providing value if you wanted marketing to be received well, and if you wanted to be successful. And then in the last report that I wrote, the uncertainty syndrome or the entrepreneurial emergency, I talked about entrepreneurs being uncertain based on all the choices that they have, and how overwhelming it was, and yet how important it was that they made the right decisions early on, and how overwhelming that can be when you have so many options to choose from. If you think about it, there's been an explosion of platforms out there for people to make courses, which is all well and good, right? Thinkific, Teachable, Kajabi, right? And the list goes on and on and on. And, so what coincides with that is what? An explosion of courses. Yet courses are good for what they are, but I think a lot of people have the wrong idea about courses. Courses are good as an overview, introduction to a concept, to something that requires to take someone who has very little knowledge to a more advanced level of knowledge. So I just don't feel like most people in our marketplace fully appreciate that attention is scarce, and that even though I wrote these reports back in 2007, right, that attention was going to become the scarcest commodity online, which it certainly has already, people are operating in a way that for the most part they're not recognizing that attention scarcity is a real phenomenon, right? Yeah. So if you look at Medium or a bunch of different sites where multiple authors, mostly content driven, most articles now show the time to read. Right? They didn't used to do that. And why do they show the time to read? Because they're letting you know up front the amount of attention that you're going to have to dedicate to this to get the outcome, right? This is now the way business is done, right? And if you look at if you're a Steal Our Winners member, then you know what Walter Birch shared with us. But even if you don't know that, right? If you subscribe to podcasts, if you watch any video podcasts, then you've probably seen where they take the sexiest stuff and they bring it to the front so that they are telling you what you're going to be exposed to later on. And why do they do that? Because attention is scarce. People put a premium on their attention. So you better wow me up front and not just make me a promise, but actually show me that these things are going to be in there. And so that's why those previews are up front. I just wanted to point out that attention scarcity is a real thing. It has only grown over time. It will continue to grow. We'll have more and more distractions competing for our attention. And if your business is not clued into that, if your marketing doesn't adjust to that, if your products don't align with that, then long term, you're not going to be in the best of situations.
Yeah.
The next thing is that, most entrepreneurs are outsiders, they're not insiders, right? And so the idea here is that because of who I know, because of where I go, I am privy to information that majority of entrepreneurs are not privy to, right? And that information is highly valuable. It made Agora an extra $1 billion when I took a conversation from one place to another place. But the thing is that in this day and age where the strategies lose their potency faster than before, and there's no access to getting them early on, those two combine to really create a disadvantage for most entrepreneurs. Because if there's a strategy that makes 50% of your webinar registration show up and you're not using that and you're only getting 20%, well, then guess what? Like, you're settling for 40% of what you could be making just by knowing a different process. And like I said, the odds of you knowing that, what it is and how to do it, not very high. And you wouldn't find that necessarily in another course, even though there are an explosion of courses out there. So the next thing is that the funnel metaphor isn't the most accurate way any longer to represent the customer journey. And when you think about prospects don't really follow linear customer journeys anymore. Like, that made sense when the business was and the marketer was in complete control of the conversation, right? And that did exist. That existed online up until like Web 2.0 and the beginning of social media. But now that customers have a voice, they also have control. And because they have control, they are going on their timeline, not yours. They are going to multiple points and doing their own research and talking in different groups, and that you can't control. So the linear process of a funnel, still valuable. I'm not saying it's not valuable, but it's not optimal if there are other ways of being more in alignment with the way that people buy today. And if you can do that, you reap the rewards of that. So those are just some of the things that people have that are obstacles that I see, that I think about, but there's a few more as well. This was when I first even came back to the marketplace. So even before I was thinking about Steal Our Winners, right? What I was thinking about was that no entrepreneurs have first party data. And to me, this is really huge. And it's huge because, so I first sold half of Strategic Profits to Agora back in like 2017. But then from 2017 to 19, I didn't even deal with Strategic Profits. I was working on different artificial intelligence projects. And that gave me access to see enterprise level software that leverages AI. That's insanely impressive that I would imagine will come into our market in a year or 2 years down the road. But AI runs on data, and you either have data or you don't. And if you don't have data, then you don't have anything to power AI. And if you have nothing to power AI and your competitors do, then you're going to have a problem. And right now, every entrepreneur is generating first party data, but they're not capturing it. So even though there's a tremendous amount of data maybe in their ad accounts, they're not sucking their ad accounts dry of that knowledge and storing it in their own business.
But just know, no matter what size your business is at and what you have access to, you can leverage data, because like Rich was saying a minute ago about him having access, to all of the big gurus that he interviews and Steal Our Winners, there are also ways that you can get somebody like Rich to give you access to his data and share it with you so that you can make better decisions based on data, even if you don't have it for yourself yet. So I just want to throw that in there for anybody who's hearing the conversation and going, well, I don't know if this applies, because it absolutely applies to all of us. We can't make great business decisions unless we have access to great data.
Yeah, I did a really, there's a presentation I did on AI that I've been told by many people was the best presentation I ever gave. I think it's on YouTube. Damn walled gardens. Yeah. And you better have your own garden that you're kind of planting right now. Rich data from Rich. Cool.
All right. So we are going to dive in here to what the infinity funnel is and how it's different from everything else that's out there. So real quick, with Steal Our Winners, one of the promise, the main promise, right, is we're bringing you the latest, hottest, most effective things that are working right now. But what if we could bring you what's going to work tomorrow, what's going to work in the future instead? And one of the things that you all know if you follow Rich is that he is really good at being able to figure out what is the future and to see that before the rest of us do. So in a minute, I'm going to ask him how he does that. And he's going to tell us a little bit about that and how he came up with this infinity funnel concept. But if you've ever felt like you escaped the corporate hamster wheel or the just getting by hamster wheel with a job, and as you created a business for yourself, kind of feels like you just traded one hamster wheel in for another because you are the one putting all your energy and everything into trying to power it, what we're going to show you is a way to actually escape from the hamster wheel, whether it's corporate or your own, and how that plays into, why Rich decided to bring Steal Our Winners together. So he shared a little bit about his vision for it, but let's talk about that scene into the future piece. You guys are about to get a sneak peek behind the scenes of what we have been working on. I'm going to show you some of it here. So when you log into the vault, you will see it as an entirely different experience than what you may have seen in Steal Our Winners as it is now, and other funnels that are out there, because this is a funnel. This is an infinity funnel. And we're going to dive into what that means and how it works. But we're going to show you a little bit of what does it look like. You can see these are just some teaser screenshots that give you an idea of what's coming. We're actually going to tell you how you can get access to this before we roll it out to the public. A few of these. You can see it's a very different style of content delivery here that lines right up with what Rich has been sharing about how we actually want to consume content, how we want to go through things. And from a business perspective, we're going to show you how it lines up with getting monetization working, solving some of those funnel and upsell problems that we talked about earlier.
A couple of things I want to point out, like where you see above John Benson's head, it shows topics. And if you were to click on that button, you would see that everything now is tagged and searchable based on what it is that what it is you're looking for. And this platform will be rolled out to all of Steal Our Winners. Ultimately, this will be the new platform. So if you're a lifetime member, this will ultimately be where you go to consume your information. And if you're a subscriber, this is where you'll go. And I want you to think about now every single segment of Steal Our Winners being a separate front-end product, that every Steal Our Winners segment has its own thumbnail, has been edited, can be previewed. And when you go to Steal Our Winners, even if you're not a subscriber, you will see exactly what was just on the page, and you will be able to preview any video, which means that every Steal Our Winners segment is now a customer acquisition front end, right? Yeah. That our affiliates can send someone to any single interview that, any segment, and we can price any segment based on however we deem to price it, right? We can create stacks of them. We can sell individual ones, but we have this ability now to basically meet people wherever they are.
I was just going to jump in for a second, and because when we talk about an infinity funnel, there are 5 areas that you want to have working for you in your business. And you're going to want to write these down as we go through them, because it doesn't matter whether you have 0 content or 1,000 pieces of, well, more than that, like Rich does, or anywhere in the middle. These concepts you can apply to whatever you've got to really get things working better for you in your business. So the first one is infinite points of entry, but it's something that trying to get everybody to come in through one door and go down one pathway. And instead, why not give people infinite points of entry where they can come into your world from and go exactly what they're looking for and buy and invest. And so that's the first piece of it, is having those infinite points of entry inside your world in an infinity funnel.
All right. So, yeah. So every segment is a front end, right? And that's important to recognize, because that allows us to meet affiliates wherever they are and can sell any kind of program based on price point as well, because we can stack and create bigger stacks, smaller stacks, et cetera, right?
We don't have to gather all this data ourselves. We don't have to test everything ourselves, because we can get the data from people who have, right? And right. Amazon and Netflix have already tested this model of infinite points of entry for us, and they have proven it works, right? So they've spent billions of dollars testing and tweaking this stuff to see, and the model already exists. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah. And what I would say is that it's not just about like the skin. It's also about how it, like what is being delivered. So the next thing though is recognizing, and this is really critical, every interaction that we have on this platform, I want you to fully understand this, because the next point is built off this. Every interaction is both an opportunity to leverage all the data that we currently have about the person who's taking the action, about all the people that have taken that action before, right? We can now leverage all that data to, like, in their next choice of what to present. We also, though, in every interaction have the opportunity to learn more, right? Because we're getting data. So we're validating, we're getting data, and we're leveraging data in every interaction, which is all first-party data, right? What that ultimately means, and I want you to really get this, is that funnels are built on the fly by the person, and that is insanely powerful, because the next point is, once we know a visitor, we can easily make that experience of the platform, right, be a lot more relevant and a lot more personalized. You know, we can offer a free segment of Steal Our Winners when someone gets to the page, right? Because they're going to see everything. Yes. They're going to be able to preview everything. And we could offer a transaction where we give you a free interview, a free segment, and in exchange, like, answer these few questions. And the questions are, where are you struggling right now in your online business? Who are your favorite gurus, et cetera, et cetera. And guess what?
Rich, let me pull up the slide that goes with that real quick. Okay. If you want to flip back over to it, because that's one of my favorite parts of this. Is what we've got built in is this opt-in here, that it can be customized. So when somebody comes and says, I want my online money high strike, because it's a vault theme and that Steal Our Winners vibe, that, like Rich said, we can run them through a little quiz that says, you know, what are your goals? What are you looking to do in your business? Who are you following? And customize the content that they see. And that gives us a way to really personalize not just their first contact with us, that makes it feel incredibly valuable, but also everything beyond that point. So if we know you're looking to learn about Facebook ads, we're going to put the videos about Facebook ads into your personal dashboard view, where you're seeing those things. And of course, the offers, and we'll get to that in a minute, that are inside of it will be customized to line up with that as well, so that it's all very customized. And the thing is, you can incorporate this in your business no matter what size you are, and you don't need, I see the comments that are having a tech discussion in chat, because you guys have accounts, you're logged in. Yes, of course, we're watching what you do in service of making sure you get exactly what you're looking for.
Let's say, right, that we can personalize on, and this is not just us, this is anyone. Once you have this kind of data, you can personalize on many different levels, right? So you can personalize towards, like, the ad that someone came in on. And so even if you don't know who the person is, if most people who come in from that ad select certain things, then we could show them those things. If it's not the ad, it could be the platform and the channel. So there are many ways to use data, even when you don't know who the person is, to optimize the experience. But once we have that data, right, the platform becomes smarter and actually starts to serve them what would grow their business the most, what they're most interested in, and is also capturing all of what they do. So guess what? If everyone who like logs into a certain segment doesn't make it to the end and everyone bails 50% through, we're not having that contributor back, and that episode is going to disappear. And let's say everyone who watches a specific episode like watches it to its entirety and everyone ranks it high. That's totally different, right? So so last thing here, just on the data side and a gazillion points of entry, is that the data it provides us, understand, not only is it relevant like on an individual level to make the experience better, but we also will have insane levels of intelligence, right?
Yes.
We'll know that if you think of like the market as a big circle and the subscriber base of Steal Our Winners is a smaller circle within that circle, right? And I want to tell you that while we're very proud of what this whole thing is, if you think that this is only happening in internet marketing, it's not. Like I shared with the team, think of Steal Our Winners, but for doctors. And instead of it other gurus, it's all different surgeons sharing different techniques based on like, so multi doctors, multi surgeons, all like for continuing education for doctors, right? So same exact model. And this model is leveraging the fact that people are attention scarce and they want to pick their own, they want to pick their way to consume, and they want specific recommendations for specific outcomes, right?
Well,
so those are some of the points of entry, but there's actually a lot more.
Let's share with you guys the 4 other infinite points in the infinity funnel, because we've only gotten through one and we promised we would share these with you. Again, these are things you can apply no matter what kind of business you're in, no matter what you're doing, if you just think about it a little bit differently. So that first one was infinite points of entry. The second one is infinite organic growth. And you can stop throwing insane amounts of money at ad campaigns that aren't working if you get this in place, and then your ad campaigns will work even better. When we're looking at the concept of the infinity funnel, one of the core things that powers it is everybody who comes in immediately is given referral links and incentivized to share so that they are out there. And this only works if you do what Rich talked about that he did with the original Internet Business Manifesto. People weren't sharing it because they loved Rich. We love Rich, but we were sharing that because it was awesomely valuable, helpful information. If your platform, your products have that kind of information in them, and you give people the opportunity to share and set it up so it's easy for them to share and reward them for sharing, you can create organic growth through that. And you will see that inside of the new Steal Our Winners platform. You guys will be incentivized to share and to spread Steal Our Winners. And that's something you can apply multiple points in your own business so that you have an engine powering that and helping you reach a bigger audience as well. So that's the second thing, is infinite organic growth. And that's built into whatever platform you put together when you're building an infinity funnel. That's number 2. Number 3, and this is something that, Rich really dove into, the concept of what are the paths through this system, through this process, and how do we create infinite monetization loops? How do we build a platform and build a funnel in a way that there are endless opportunities to monetize that platform and not just push sales messaging at people, but make it feel so natural based on where people are at and what they want next? And the fourth one, this one is, if you're writing this down, this is number 4, infinite engagement. So at the beginning, we talked about people who were tire kickers. They're just coming in, consuming free content, never converting to a client or customer. Or they come in and they buy, and then they don't do anything with what they've bought. And then you end up frustrated, right? Because you're putting this stuff together because you want people to use it. You want them to get results. You need them to get results so that you can capture social proof and go get more people into your programs and your products and your services. And you can do that when you create infinite engagement inside of a platform.
But one of the things that we're doing on the engagement level is, how do we engineer a client success in 14 days. Like, what do we need to do to get someone, like, so that the system knows what that person would most benefit from, get it in their hands, and help them in whatever way get that outcome, so that we can generate as many success stories within the first 14 days as possible. In addition to that, like asking or kind of forcing a ranking on every video, so that like we can then gamify our contributors, right? And reward the contributor that gives the best contribution this month, might get banners on our home page the following month. We've also talked about putting a bounty on every single segment. So the first person that creates a case study getting the same outcome, getting a positive outcome like our expert did, you will get a bounty. So there's a reward offered for every single one. And what another thing is that then releases become more of an event. And we have some really cool things planned for that, but I didn't want to go on too long. So Michelle, why don't you show some of the things that you were thinking about showing?
I will show you guys some sneak peeks of this inside the system. So we've designed gamification a little bit differently than you've probably seen it done before. Can you guys see my screen? There we go. And I'll walk you through some of this. So there's 3 core actions that we want our community to be taking aside of Steal Our Winners. There's learning, there's doing, and there's earning. And we do not want, we don't want to just track, you get points if you do X, Y, Z. We really want to incentivize people to actually jump in, complete things, and share their results. So they're actually generating results. So we've got the learning section here that tracks not just are you completing things, but how many things are you completing in different topics? Where are you focused at? How much time are you spending on it? And logging all of that. We also have doing. So actually moving into this one here, same thing. What are you taking action on and doing? And because we have those checklists, let me go back to that and show you this real quick, that Rich mentioned. We've got in every episode, the checklist here, the system tracks as you complete your action steps. So it can actually see where you're making progress, what you're getting done inside of the system. And then we can give you rewards based on that. And one of the things that we've built into this is that when you complete something, it'll pop up and ask you to share, hey, tell us about what you just completed. Are you excited about it? What do you see happening now that you know how to do this? And we can be gathering social proof at all points during the process, completely on autopilot. And we're asking at the right point. Because if you ask somebody to give you a testimonial before they've even checked out your course, that's not really the right point, right? You got to wait and you got to know when are they implementing. And without data and without tracking, you don't know when somebody's taken action on it. So we're watching that. And then the earning part as well as we go into, let me skip through. And I'm in this video because this is top secret, guys. I shouldn't actually be showing you this without you all signing the NDA. This is something we are literally building out right now. And those who join us in what we're going to talk about in a minute are going to get to see this being built and help us test it and play with it. But we're also tracking actual earning. So we're allowing people to self-report based on what they learned and Steal Our Winners. What are the results they're seeing? And when they check in and report that, like Rich said, there's going to be bounties that people can win. There's going to be gifts and swag and prizes in addition to points and badges and all of those things. We're also taking this to another level with the affiliates, where we're going to gamify our entire affiliate program. And there will be leaderboards and incentives to get people promoting, because a great affiliate program doesn't have to be launch-based. You can do it in a way that's evergreen. The last thing, if you are taking notes, and you should be, number 5 is infinite paths to scale. Rich, you mentioned earlier that the biggest point of leverage we have is our business model. And so many business models are not built to scale, right? And I think I'm going to raise both hands on this one. I don't know. Y'all can raise your hands with me if you've experienced this, where you get something working great. You are making good money in your business, but you're working so many hours, you realize, oh, this is not built to scale. This is not something that I can sustain. And you need a funnel and a business model in place that is actually built to scale, so that you are not the only one powering your business, that you're not trapped on that hamster wheel. Even though now you're the one who owns the hamster wheel, it's still a hamster wheel. And so that's part of what the infinity funnel is designed to do, is to give you those leverage points where you really can scale, because you've got affiliates, you've got organic traffic happening, you've got easier ways to create your offers and have infinite points of entry with those. You have more monetization options and opportunities. And we didn't even get into all of the things you can do with testing out affiliate offers, knowing exactly what next offer you should create that will sell. But all of that is what gives you the ability to really scale your business and to grow the type of business that gives you the freedom to get off that hamster wheel. So those are the 5 points that really make an infinity funnel unique. And that's what we wanted to share with you. So Richard, we good to kind of spill the secret now?
Just made a quick list, so I just run down them. New acquisitions and premium offers every month we're generating, right? Just based on the business model, right? An environment to test products like with real customers in real time. A system that becomes more valuable with every interaction, as opposed to, you know, the opposite, or non-scalable, where you work more for, like, as your business grows. This, as the business grows, the business becomes more intelligent and becomes more valuable and is able to sell better because of the intelligence. Ability to create products and programs on the fly by taking these minimum, you know, publishable units and bringing them together. Right offer, right time, right person, based on all the tech that we just talked about. Free pages and tools to make the site more sticky in and of itself, right? The site is customized to the user, like I said earlier. And if we don't have information on the user, then it's customized by other data about that visitor. And we're alerted to winning topics, winning gurus, winning content way in advance, and therefore know ahead of time before the market knows. Kind of like when I had my retail store, we're always looking for the items that are going to make the season. And so this is something, before Michelle even goes over the details, I just wanted to give you a frame. Strategic Profits was the first online business that I know of where we had dripped content in an e-learning platform. So we created the first drip learning that we just created for ourselves, where we housed all of our programs. And I can tell you that of all the things that I've ever done, I am more confident about this than any of the previous ones, and I'm going all in on this. And we're not at a place where the model is completely built out and everything is we're ready to flip the switch and take over the world. We're in a place right now where it's functional, where we see it, where we now have the ability to invite some select group in to learn with us. So this is a great opportunity for each and every one of you if you want to learn by our side. I'm plowing in tons of money to learn this, right? And this is your opportunity for maybe 1/1000th or 1/10,000th of what I'll ultimately spend to get all this information. You can sit by my side and just learn this information. We're not telling you that you should create a clone of our site. That's not the intention here. This isn't a business in a box. This is for people who get how valuable it is to know to be on the alert for, what to notice for, what is actually happening, and how does this all kind of get packaged together to turn into a high functioning business. Each and every one of you is an opportunity to do the same with myself and Michelle and my team, where as we learn all that we need to learn, as we put things in place, as we evaluate whether this works or doesn't work, you get the benefit of learning all of those things as well. So with that said, then now Michelle can explain the program more in its entirety, but I wanted to kind of preface it by letting you know what the opportunity is. It's like one of your best friends is about to learn a ridiculous amount about new models and what works in a space that you operate in. And you can either join them or not. And Michelle is going to tell you the cost of the invitation or the investment in the invitation.
But no, so there's really a couple of parts to this invitation that I want to make sure that we really communicate to you all, because it's not about cloning this. It's about this model. You can take these concepts and apply all 5 of those things. So infinite points of entry, infinite organic growth, infinite monetization loops, infinite engagement, and infinite scalability to your business. And in infinitize, I think that's a word, your business with what we're going to show you as part of this program. So you're going to be getting not just training that helps you apply these concepts to your business, but like Rich said, the behind the scenes of exactly what we're doing. And I'm going to go to the offer here, Rich, if you want to share a link with them so they can go and check it out. You are going to first be confronted with this page. All right, you've got to agree to this page before you actually see the offer, because of what we're going to be sharing with you. First off, it's incredibly powerful. And this is stuff that, again, Amazon has already tested and proven it works, but we've taken it to another level inside our own industry and our space to figure out how it works for us, how it works for coaches, consultants, internet marketers. And this stuff applies to anything that you're selling, right? So we need you to agree to the NDA real quick and let us know that you promise not to share this beyond the group, because this is limited. And actually, we should check because the program is filling up really quickly. We sent out one sneak peek email last night and woke up to the program quickly filling. Only lifetime members got that early bird email, so you may have seen that. I saw a couple of you comment on it in chat. Sign the NDA on this page that Rich just gave you a link to, and you will be able to see the offer itself. Because again, part of this offer is you will get alpha access to the platform itself. So before we release this to Steal Our Winners members or anyone else, you will get to go in and help us test this and play with it and see how we're gathering the data, how we're setting up the content, how all of it works. And you will get access to that info that you can bring back and use in your own business as well. So here's what's included. And again, go sign the NDA. You will see the full page, and spaces are limited for this because we are putting people in the site as alpha testers. We literally can only have so many people in this particular program. So the Infinity Funnel formula, the first thing is you get 6 modules that we'll be delivering live, revealing the keys to infinitizing your business. So this will be both Rich, myself, Matt Risby, Michelle Matson, the whole team will be involved in showing you how to apply these concepts in your business so you can take it and apply it to what you are doing. And if you are on this page, you can scroll down and see what these 6 modules are right here in this section. So infinite possibilities, that mindset of how do you apply infinity to your business, and then infinite points of entry, organic growth, monetization. If you are looking to figure out how do you put affiliate offers, your own offers, more upsells into what you're doing, we're going to show you exactly what works, infinite engagement, and how you scale that, right? So you can see that on the page. That's the first piece of the program. The second piece is that early alpha access. So you will literally be the first people inside of this platform as part of the Infinity Funnel formula. We have not let anybody but teams see this yet. It is why that NDA is required, is you are seeing it as we develop it, which means you are going to be seen as we build out the gamification and these different pieces that we're showing you. You get to see that. Moving forward here, what you get: exclusive access to the Facebook group. So that is part of the program. We have a Facebook group just for people who are in this, where we will be going live and showing you sneak peeks behind the scenes, doing Q&A with the group. You have access to myself, Rich, and the team to ask us, how do you apply this in your business? What do you do to apply these different concepts? Plus, we'll just call it some secret bonuses from Rich and the team, right? So that is what is included in this. Like I said, this is strictly limited. Like literally the developers have told us we cannot let more than a certain number of people into this program because the platform is in alpha testing. So if you want access to this, if you want to get not just these modules where we're teaching you how to apply it, but all of the data Rich was talking about that he has invested, I can tell you from seeing behind the scenes, hundreds of thousands of dollars in making this reality. This is how you get access to that. We had 50 spots available in this. And Rich, we should probably check and see what we had left, because this is not, we could put a countdown timer on the page, but we don't need one because this will sell out in terms of how many spaces we have available before a timer would run out. So
yes,
that is where we're at. It is almost full. Actually, I'm going to go check that and see.
Yeah,
but we are excited to get you guys in there.
And what I would say is that like those key points, right? The infinite points of entry, the infinite organic growth, the infinite monetization loops, the infinite engagement, the infinite paths to scale. All of those elements are elements that we are planning on going deep with you, teaching you everything that we've learned and everything that we're planning on testing, and therefore what other things that you could possibly do, whether or not you ever create anything like Steal Our Winners. What you want to do is you want to leverage these different elements of growth, right? So what we've tried to do is create the ideal in Steal Our Winners, and you're going to see us do all those things, right? From gamification for engagement purposes to, infinite points of entry as far as a ridiculous number of acquisition tools, et cetera, right? And whether you choose this strategy or that strategy, the idea is that we're going to be on a very steep learning curve, and we're giving you the opportunity to ride that steep learning curve with us at a cost that is insanely cheap when you compare the cost that I'm spending to test all these things.
And not
Right.
just that, Rich, but this is
Yeah.
an opportunity because, and I know I'm going to be honest with you guys, I might get in trouble for saying this, but the team and I have been after Rich to actually be available for coaching and for that type of program because he hasn't been, right? You guys have not been able to get access to him. And this is your opportunity to actually get access to Rich. You, 49 other people, that's it, a small program. And if you guys have any idea what Rich's time is worth an hour for consulting, and the value of just one or two questions you could get answered by him, it is worth 1,000 times the investment in this. So this is your chance to actually get in and get access to Rich as well as the team. For that, you get to work directly with the one and only Rich Sheffrin if you jump in and join us for this. I had to throw that in that, Rich, and it is actually almost full. So for anybody who's thinking about it, I suggest you grab it now before we send this replay out because it's clearly going to sell out quickly here.
Davey Paul wants to know when it starts. When is this?
Well, as soon as you sign up, you will immediately be taken to a confirmation page that gives you a link to join our Facebook group, which we are opening today. And you will begin to see some sneak peeks and things happening in there. The first module itself, I believe we've got it set to release in about a week. Because as Rich said, we are creating this live. Like none of this is pre-recorded, recycled content. This is all literally us right now creating this for you guys and showing you how to build this for your own business. So the program begins as soon as you make the decision to join us. We will get you in the Facebook group and you will start getting access to behind the scenes sneak peeks and all of the different pieces of the program. The program itself will last about 6 weeks. There's 6 modules. But one thing I actually forgot to mention that Matt, you guys can thank Matt Risby for this. He talked Rich into is not just 6 weeks, but at 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, we're going to be checking back in with you guys and sharing with you, hey, here's what happened when we implemented that thing we told you about. Here's what worked. Here's what we're going to figure out how to make work better and kind of bring you along with us on that journey, even beyond the 6 weeks of the program. So you will be getting continuing access to those behind the scenes updates, which I'm excited for that and to get access to that data because I think that's going to be really cool, Rich. There's also, I hope it's okay if I tease this. There's also the opportunity to find out how at some point you might get featured inside of Steal Our Winners with maybe your own channel, your own courses. That's down the road. And I'm, again, probably going to get myself in trouble for sharing that with you all, but everybody in this program is first in line to find out what those things are that are coming because you guys are going to see us building them out and see how that's being put in place. So lots of insider information available inside the program for those who join us.
Totally. And, for those of you who have been clients of mine, you know that once someone is a client of mine, I do everything possible that I can do to make sure that it becomes the best investment of their life. So my desire and my track record both show that. And so you will become the first affiliates. You will get inside access to make sure that if you decide to be an affiliate actively, you will benefit greatly and probably pay for the program all just from the inside knowledge of how best to sell it. But, we're going to try and make sure that every element of this program exceeds your expectations because that's what I try to do in everything that I do. And this will be no different. And we want to be able to exploit that and also build a marketing platform that allows us to take advantage of every type of trend, every type of person that interacts with the system, and every type of content. And I believe that we have figured that out.
Well, this is your opportunity, guys. We're almost at the top of the hour, and actually, I just checked the stats, and we're this close to the 50 spots being filled. And if you want in, now's the time to jump in and join us. I see some of the comments in the chat. If you sign the NDA, you will see all the details about the program, the modules, exactly what's included on that page. So go check it out. This is, again, including alpha test access to the new site. So spaces are limited because of that. It'll be you, 49 other people, Rich, me, Matt, the whole team in there. You will get access to see the behind the scenes, to the data that we are collecting, to the platform itself, plus the training on how to apply this to your own business. And really, this is the future. This is what's next. And if you missed the automated webinar, if you miss these other things that have come and gone in our spaces, this is your chance to be ahead of the curve this time and to let Rich show you how to take this concept and apply it to your business.
There it is. Very cool. This was fun. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I look forward to working with those of you who are joining us on this journey. I can guarantee you that you won't regret it. You'll feel like this was one of the best investments you've ever made. That's what I will be working relentlessly towards. And you are going to see a complete game change of online marketing, and you'll have the stories to tell others about, that you were there at the ground floor watching all this actually happening. And then you'll have a story about how you used it to amass your wealth. And that's what we'll all be working very hard on.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Bye, everyone. And see everyone on Tuesday back at the regular time for the live stream. And the Higher Profits Beyond, over and out.